I want you to speak it out.
It's pushing off that next time. All right, let's go ahead and call our meeting to order for the regular meeting for the City Council of City of Perry and have roll call.
Coffee. Bledsoe.
Here.
Marshall. Here. Davis. Coldiron. Rupp.
Here.
Williams.
Here.
Boucher. Wortham.
Here. All right, we barely have quorum tonight. So I will go ahead and offer the invocation for tonight. Our Father in heaven, we are grateful for this day that we can come together as a city council and as a community to discuss the items that we have on our agenda tonight. Father, we have some that are not with us here this evening because they're sick, and we ask you to please watch over and bless them with health and strength, that they can overcome the sickness that they have to resume their regular activities. Father, we're grateful for the opportunity to serve our community and ask for discernment as we go through our items tonight, that we can be mindful of the community, for the residents, and those whom we serve and represent. Father, we're grateful for your Son, Jesus Christ, for the example that he is to us, and for the gospel that he taught. Father, these things we pray for in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen. Amen. All right, let's start with item number 1, our consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second. All right, roll call.
And Bledsoe.
Yes.
Rupp.
Yes.
Marshall. Yes. Don't worry, I didn't forget you. It's kind of hard to
It threw me off.
approve. Williams.
Yes.
Wortham.
Yes. Okay, we do not have any comments from those assembled tonight, so we'll go down to item number 5, proclamations, commendations, reports, and inquiries by the governing body. We'll start with Ward 2. So Austin.
I don't have anything.
All right. Joe?
Don't have anything other than everybody's sick. Wash your hands.
All right, Dr. Joe said wash your hands. All right, Randy?
I think the only thing I've got is I've had several people excited about the work we're doing on the streets.
Mm-hmm.
They're still confused somewhat on our selection process. I've assured them that we're doing a lot of this around the water project that we have to get done first, but lots of excitement about the opportunity to get some streets fixed.
Yeah, I bet you'll probably talk about some of those streets.
Yeah, and I can touch on the selection process just to remind everybody.
Yep.
Thanks.
Yeah. Danette? All right. I don't really have that much either, other than I had another week of speaking at different things around town, and everybody's excited about the work that the city council is doing. I'm really proud. We've got a lot of things happening. And tomorrow, Nate and I are actually going to a conference for the Rockefeller Foundation down in Oklahoma City. Perry was, I guess, specifically invited to come down to that for, I guess there's funding opportunities coming into Oklahoma, and the state wanted us there, wanted Perry there for it. So hopefully we'll have some good things to bring back next time we meet.
Yep.
On that. And that's all I've got. So we'll go on to item number 6, which is a presentation by the Perry Chamber of Commerce. We have Katie Karras here with us.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. Thank you for letting me come. I'm sorry I wasn't here last week. Junior high football called my attention elsewhere. Luckily, that's wrapping up. I just wanted to give everyone a brief update on Q3 for the Chamber of Commerce. It was a very exciting and busy and energizing quarter. It was a great example of what we can do when our businesses, schools, and city work together. We're continuing to see that collaborative effort reap the benefits. We've added several new members this quarter, which has been really exciting. Prestige Electrical Services, Lolly and Pop's Food Cakes, and Frank's Food Shack. So we've had a couple food trucks join, which is kind of a unique membership opportunity, but it's great for all the events that we hold to have those food truck members, and we are grateful for them. Inside the office, we've been making small but important upgrades. We updated our membership folder, so now when we have new members come inquiring about membership at the Chamber, we have updated information to give them. And we also refreshed our ribbon cutting kit, so hopefully we'll have some new businesses open soon so we can put that to good use. I also had the opportunity to connect with over 30 other chamber leaders at the OCCE CEO retreat, which was held at Meridian in Stillwater. We've begun quarterly collaboration meetings with specifically the Stillwater Chamber. So myself and Laura Vollmer and Melanie McGuire have all been invited to be a part of a collaborative council that meets quarterly. So I'm excited to see what collaboration efforts come from that. The partnerships are already helping us share ideas and resources, which is exciting. I love learning from other communities, and the chamber world is exciting in that everything is very open-handed. So if it's worked for one community, everyone is really willing to share insight and resources and help one another grow. So that's been wonderful. One of the biggest steps this quarter that our chamber took was officially establishing the Perry Chamber Foundation, which is our 501c3 arm. So this gives us access to new grant opportunities that will directly benefit businesses, our members, and community programs. Something that we haven't really been able to do before. We haven't had access because we were a 501c6. So I'm excited about that opportunity. Our board is still meeting to kind of brainstorm, and we're working with Laura to figure out how we can kind of fill gaps that maybe Main Street isn't able to meet with our funding opportunities. So that's exciting. The highlight of Q3 without question was the Cherokee Strip celebration. It feels like forever ago, but it wasn't that long. We saw a 29% increase in attendance this year. Over 4,000 visitors in total, and visitors stayed downtown nearly twice as long, which for me was the biggest win of that whole celebration. That was kind of my goal going into it, was that we offered more amenities and attractions downtown to keep people there longer, because that was one of the biggest issues that we had. Is after the parade there was always a mass exodus, so I was excited to see this year people stayed around. Vendor participation also rose by 11%, and nearly 40% of our attendees came from outside Perry, which is really great exposure for our community. So that was exciting to see. We added a lot of new things this year. The carnival, we had some shaded seating around the bandstand stage, which we got a lot of really positive feedback about. We offered live music and family-friendly entertainment, which really made downtown feel alive all weekend, I think. Through a $50,000 Malls on Family Affiliated Fund grant, which Nate helped us with through the City of Perry, we were able to fully fund that carnival, which was wonderful. The Chamber distributed 560 free wristbands through a partnership with Perry Public Schools. Our goal was that every child could participate. So regardless of income, no one was turned away from the carnival this year. So it was definitely, the money making was not the priority for us. It was the community collaboration and making people feel that sense of community pride and excitement for having the carnival back, and I think we were successful. We have a lot of notes on how to make the carnival better next year, so if you have any feedback, I would welcome that. We're already in the planning stages, so it's kind of like you finish the event and then you immediately go into planning for next year, so I would love any feedback you all have. As far as moving forward, marketing and community promotion we're focusing on, we have our Purchase in Perry campaign in July. Drew nearly 200 local shoppers that turned in receipts to us, which was great. Small wins like that add up for our businesses, and that's the goal. We're gearing up for, it's the same type of event, but we call it Shop Perry, Be Merry, and that starts right after Thanksgiving and runs to Christmas time. We're doing ad sales for a mailer this year that we're offering through the chamber, so there will be a mailer that goes out to 5,000 homes in Noble County, and all of our chamber members have an opportunity to buy an advertising spot on that, and that's kind of to help incentivize local dollars being spent here as well. So we're excited to see what that looks like. And then we're also selling ads for our 2026 chamber guide. So that is starting. We're going to debut that guide at our chamber banquet this year, and that guide will also feature articles about each of our award winners this year. So it'll kind of be kept under wraps until that evening, and then as everyone leaves, they can take a copy of the guide, and it'll have write-ups on all of our award winners. So I'm excited about that. We had a successful trick-or-treat on the square. We had a ton of kiddos participate, which was wonderful, and it was beautiful weather. Anytime the weather cooperates, we always have a really good turnout, so that was great. Currently, my bandwidth is being spent on a job shadowing day partnership that we have with Perry Public Schools. So utilizing the resources that we have with our local businesses and partnering with Courtney Martinez, who is the I'm going to say her title wrong, Career Development Specialist, I believe, with the schools. We're helping partner students with their prospective career fields. So in December, we'll have 2 different job shadowing days. One will be for seniors and one will be for juniors. And we're connecting those students for a couple of hours with business owners here in Perry so that they can learn more about the career fields that they're interested in. So that's an exciting opportunity. We're also doing something next month called 30 Visits in 30 Days. So we're going to be visiting 30 businesses in our chamber membership just to touch base with them and highlight them every day. So be watching our social media for that. And we are already preparing for our 2026 chamber banquet, which is exciting. That'll be in February if the weather cooperates. If not, it'll get pushed to March again. But we're looking at a venue change this year because we're busting at the seams, holding it at the FBT Event Center. So we'll more than likely be moving to a bigger location this year, which is an exciting problem to have. So anyway, that's all the updates that I have. In short, this quarter was a great opportunity for growth and connection, and I'm really proud of the work that our office did at the Cherokee Strip celebration this year. I'm really grateful for your continued support and partnership, and again, any and all feedback that you have that you can send my way on things we can do better to improve, I welcome that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Katie.
Thanks, Katie.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate all the work that you're doing.
Absolutely, it's
There's a lot of
exciting.
big events that you guys take on, and making it bigger
Yes.
is great.
That's the goal, just constant growth.
Those
What?
stats were cool.
Yeah.
They were.
Yeah. So there's an executive summary that I believe was submitted to you all. If you don't have a copy of it, let me know and I'll submit it again. I turned it in with my quarterly report, and it has a more elaborate breakdown of comparisons between last year and this year. So it's
nice.
neat to see that. I would love to be able to pull that data from even further back to see, but we'll continue to do that every year and compare, because I'm definitely, I like to challenge myself every year to beat myself last year, right? So that's
Do
the
you
goal.
have Christmas activities? scheduled?
The Chamber of Commerce does not, but Main Street of Perry is
Okay.
holding their Christmas parade, and I'm working with Laura to support her in any way that I can. Yeah. Yeah. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Katie.
Uh-huh.
All right, item number 7, our city manager report.
Yeah, thanks, Mayor. I have just a couple of things. The first is last time we talked that streets projects were going to be beginning. Randy mentioned those tonight, so I wanted to give kind of an update there. The first project was 4th Street, which was 2 blocks, and that was completed. Looked really, really nice. And the second phase is 9th Street. So the streets department's been working hard on that. They did the first 25% of the first block because they had some extra asphalt from the 4th Street project. So that's been finished, and they've been grading it and prepping it, and are planning on doing it Thursday this week with collaboration from Noble County. So really appreciate all the collaboration and help that's gone into that. And we should see 9th Street done by the end of this week too. So
We're out on 9th Street.
they're going from the highway over to, well, it's been talked about. They'll either go over to Boundary, or they'll go clear over to Market. And it'll kind of just depend on how much asphalt the first one takes. They're still kind of figuring out, they have estimates going in, but still trying to figure out, okay, how much is this machine actually weighing when we put things on and stuff, so. And then the last one.
South end of 9th Street.
Yeah, yeah.
And then the last one that they'd like to get done before winter sets in, which it'll depend on the weather obviously, but is Homeland Alley. And then we'll commence in the spring to continue our 15 blocks. We are on track to get that done, and that's the plan, and we're gonna do it, so.
Nice.
Really exciting things there. Second update, I sent out a memo on this, but the remodel of the police station next door has started. And so council allocated $50,000 towards that, and Chief and Roy Stevens, our assistant chief, worked really, really hard getting a ton of different quotes and matching them up in such a way that they were able to use the full extent of those funds to get just a ton of work done. It's worth touring. I did like a before video, and it's gonna look really, really good. So I'm excited to see what that comes out as. And just a shout out to our police department. I mean, they do everything they can to save on cost. Royce and Chief were actually over there cutting flooring and laying flooring because that was one of the items that came back as really high, and they're like, we can just do this ourselves. So it's just awesome to see them working, and they do a great job. And then just the last thing I had was I want to continue to remind people about the November 17th special HP meeting at 5 p.m. at the First Bank & Trust Event Center. Again, council heard you. They limited the HP zone, cut it by over 55%. But those of you who it's affecting have gotten notice in the mail, and we hope to see you there and participate in that event. So I think that's all I have, except I guess maybe I could comment on the streets selection process. So Randy, you mentioned there's some confusion there still. The streets being done are not the artery streets, and they're not the biggest issue streets right now. And the reason for that is we have a list of those, and people will call in from time to time and ask, why are you doing, this street versus that one? I'm like, oh, well, your street that you're mentioning is on the list, and it is, priority number 2 or 3. But we're waiting for that main kill-out project to be completed, because we don't want to lay asphalt just to then dig it up and fix pipes underneath. So just so everybody is aware, and as a reminder, we have a priority list of streets, and we're not doing those right now until that pipe main kill-out project is completed underneath. So
Nate, what did you say the date of the historical preservation meeting was?
it's November 17th at 5 p.m.
Yeah, it's our next meeting.
Yep.
So that meeting we'll have the town hall meeting, or the historic preservation meeting at 5. The Perry Planning Commission will meet after that, and then our regular city council meeting will follow the planning commission.
Yeah, it'll be very fast paced, and the hope is that we'll have answered many of the questions and addressed many of the concerns going into the meeting. Was there something?
So all that will happen right here.
No, we're gonna be over at the event center, First Bank and Trust.
And then we'll
Center.
come over here for the council meeting and planning commission.
Oh, we will. We're not doing it over there.
No, we'll come over here for the council.
Okay. I did have somebody ask if we're gonna do the HP portion of it, like Facebook Live or something, so people can watch it.
There might be a way to do it like over the phone, but as far as like having all the equipment there, we won't.
Right.
So I could ask Tyson if we can do something like really simplified and see what he says.
Right.
That's all I have, Mayor, unless there's other questions for me.
Yeah, any other questions, anybody? All right,
Thank you.
you're on it. Item number 8, our CFO remarks and monthly invoice.
It's me. We have October billing is what we've been working on. Got everything balanced, monthly financials sent out, including the PFA. The only other things that not the only other things, but the 2 major things that we worked on additionally are the E911 annual report was due. Worked with Candy on that and got that submitted. They had a couple of follow-up questions on it, but I feel like we got those solved pretty quickly. And then some health insurance options with our upcoming potential changes with the big beautiful bill and however that's going to fall out. So I have not heard from Jana on the audit, so we are waiting a little bit on that. I had hoped to have that ready by the next meeting. I don't know if that's going to happen. She has all the information. We're just kind of waiting on her schedule at this point.
All right, any questions for Meredith? Thank you, Meredith. We'll go on to item number 9, presentation of city attorney report, monthly invoice.
It was another busy month, as you can tell by my report, which I've handed out. A lot of work on Project Duke, all the plat issues, which were really just administrative, have been finalized, and that plat should be filed this week. That's really the only thing that stops us from closing that transaction, which we're not supposed to state the date, but it's going to be very soon. With respect to the Perry Lake Dam project, Matt is here tonight to deal with some of the final issues there. As you know, the federal government is closed, so the federal employees aren't in their office, but we did meet with them before the federal government got closed, and had a good discussion with them. There are a few issues that Matt will talk about. I, this month, have been working on them. Pinal Point, we did a variance before the Board of Adjustment. I did the agenda, the order, and the notice which went out. we're waiting, that says waiving, we're waiting on environmental report and financial at that point, excuse me, and an appraisal. At that point, the financial will be finalized and that project should start. So we're looking forward to that moving forward. With respect to the hospital, I did 2 holdings agendas, but there were issues pertaining to the substantial completion certificate. I checked it all out. We're okay there. I've authorized the city manager to sign it. I think today Courtney said that the state hasn't passed the substantial completion on phase 1. There's a few things that need to be done. So based on that, you should probably hold off on signing that until that's done. I prepared an economic development agreement for a new business prospect coming to town, consistent with the variables I was giving. On zoning and planning, of course, worked on that last notice. We got the maps right. We did 2 zoning planning agendas this month. And then on administrative issues, a lot of work on hobby chickens and ducks. Did the REAP resolutions, did all of the agendas, and attended a bunch of meetings. So it's been a busy month. Some of these things should start closing soon. So I mean, we can remove them from the list, or at least from my list once they're moving forward. That's really somebody else unless I have to get involved. So lots of exciting things occurring in Perry. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, Bryce.
What's the business behind Project Duke?
What's the business behind Project Duke?
They should announce next month, I think.
You think? You've been saying that every month.
Yeah, you've been saying that for months now.
As I said, at first it wasn't, but now it's starting to drive me crazy.
I know.
Well, they're breaking ground next month, so it should be soon.
Okay, good.
So on Phenom Point, does that mean that once this gets done, they'll start breaking
Yes.
ground?
Yeah.
When does, because we have that one, when does Stuckey's start?
I don't know their timeline. I've reached out a couple of times and just thrown some ideas off of them, and they're usually quick to respond to say they got it, but then not quick to reply to the actual questions.
Gotcha.
So I don't know when their timeline is.
Just logistically, we're gonna have a lot of projects going on at the same time, because we have distribution center, 2 truck stops, YMCA, Ditch Witch, all their projects. We've got
It's good
a
use
lot.
tax.
That's good. Yeah, I was gonna say, so
I just
so for
lots of use tax,
tax-wise,
that's a
yeah,
lot.
that
Excellent.
we didn't have that planned
The one?
or
Yeah.
anticipated.
Yeah.
So like
What's
that'll
that?
probably be a big bump
Use
on
tax.
use tax.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, nice.
So that'll be a nice bump.
Yeah, it'd be great. And then we have, lots of city projects going on, or things that the city's interested in terms of capital improvements.
Right.
25th Street, we're talking about doing updates there. Just lots of things. Lots of things.
Remind me, which one is Phenom Point?
That's the old
the
Cherokee.
Across from Love's?
American
No.
Inn.
No.
Oh, the American Inn.
American Inn.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did talk to OnQ as well, and we had a great conversation. I talked to him about the things going on with the new truck stop and said, hey, I know your current business is, your current restaurant's looking at closing because I think the Finleys are moving to Florida or something. And said, you're gonna lose a lot of business with people pulling off and seeing this brand new truck stop with a brand new restaurant, and you guys having, this old diner. So we had a great conversation there, I think, looking at some potential upgrades or things there too. So.
That'd be good. Good deal. Exciting stuff. All right. Well, let's continue on. But item number 10, consider approval of application for payment number 2 with Lone Hickory Cattle Company on the 25th Street Water and Sewer Improvements Project in the amount of $205,722.50. So this is just payout number 2.
Yeah, I was out there today. It looks really, really good. They're wrapping up. They just have to remove brush and fix some fencing, and then do their seeding process to replace the sod or grass that they tore up. But it looks really, really good. I'm excited for it, and it'll facilitate a lot of the development that we actually haven't even talked about yet. That's coming. So.
Motion to approve.
Second. Okay, roll call.
My fingers don't want to work. They're cold. Bledsoe,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
and Rupp,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Wortham.
Yes. All right, item number 11, consider approval of resolution number 2025-16 of the City Council of the City of Perry, Oklahoma, authorizing and establishing the City of Perry Christmas Lighting/Electric Rebate Program, providing for the public purpose, providing for the amount and limitation on rebate as provided in Exhibit A. So this is just the Christmas light rebate that we do every year.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, Bledsoe,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Rupp,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Wortham.
Yes. All right. Item number 12, consider item pertaining to zoning, planning, and land use. So 12A, receive recommendation from Perry Planning Commission regarding the application of Bob Warrant to close the public use of south half of Jackson Street, abutting lots 4 through 7, Block 10, town site of Northeast Perry, County of Noble, State of Oklahoma, in accordance to the recorded plat thereof.
Yeah, so this went before Planning Commission last week. The idea is that Bob Warrant many years ago built his home on top of really what is the continuation of that Jackson Street that runs into the railroad tracks. The city doesn't have any use for it. We haven't used it for many years. He built over it. He thought it was closed. It wasn't actually closed in the proper way, so he's going through the process of making sure that it's closed in the proper manner this time. The Planning Commission didn't have any concerns with the closure, except for they wanted to make sure that the owners were notified, which we have done. I've talked to our electric and water departments. Joe mentioned he was a little bit concerned about a water line that's showing under there. Confirmed that although it's on our GIS map, it's not accurate. There's no water line there to be concerned about. So we're recommending that this move to council and the council close it.
So this is basically his driveway. Is that correct? Jackson turns into his driveway at that point?
Yeah.
Christie's
it's right
not
on his
having
I tried to
driveway.
drive around there and get oriented of what was going
Yeah,
on.
it's right there with his driveway. I mean, his driveway's on that little spot that we're actually
There is no
talking about.
paved street there at this point.
No.
Does it block access to anybody on the north side, though, that would want to get into that property?
No, because the north side remains open. That was asked in Planning Commission as well.
So there'll be half a street there?
Have access, yeah.
Okay.
And that was the Planning Commission concern, that they said, we want to make sure these people know that they're closing the south half, but the north half remains open so they can access it. There's no plans to build there currently, although of course it could happen in the future. And I mentioned this at Planning Commission, but I think it's really important. We are always really, really careful when recommending closures to council. I have to think about the city manager 50 years from now, and if he's going to be mad at me for recommending a closure. I've had others come and say, hey, I want to close this, and my answer is always just no. It's always a no, and then convince me why it should be a yes. And we've done one already, which was the YMCA, and this is the second one that I would recommend moving on. But yeah, normally it's a no, but in this situation, running into the railroad tracks, we're never going to use it.
So we still have half an easement there, basically.
Right away.
A right of way, yep.
Yeah, it's half of a platted street that was never put in. And your action to close it is, if you look at the ordinance, it can be reopened at any time without expense, unless and until Bob goes to the district court and files an application for vacation, like the YMCA did. And then they have to notify all these people and even more people in the county and the like, and they have a hearing before the judge, and then the judge, if he holds it, he will judicially transfer that property to Bob's. Now Bob will have a legitimate, he will own the property on which his house sits. So that's kind of how that works. You're just a piece in the puzzle, and there's a lot more notice that will be going out. Bob, if you didn't hear, he along with 4 other members of this council, he's sick. He said he had pneumonia, and so he apologizes for not being here today, but just didn't want to bring that sickness here.
So I see, looking at the map again, but part of his house sits in the easement.
Yes.
Yeah, it's already closed, I mean, and everything but the legalities. Like I said, many years ago, this was done, and he thought it was done, but for whatever reason, it wasn't, so.
So if we approve this, we would be basically just maintaining an easement for our services. Citizens
south
couldn't
side.
drive down a,
Or sorry, on the north side.
Yeah, on the north side of the road, that would be half a platted street that has never been opened or upgraded,
so
yes.
a 1-lane street of some kind.
Yeah.
And we would only really use that if those lots were ever developed to
Ever
be houses
developed,
or whatever.
yeah.
All right, any other questions? Let's go on to 12B and conduct a public hearing to consider the application of Bob Moore to close the public use of south half of Jackson Street, abutting to lots 4 through 7, block 10, town side of Northeast Perry, county of Noble, state of Oklahoma, in accordance to the recorded plat thereof. So with that, we'll just move on to C.
Yeah, are there any members of the
Right.
public that would like to speak to this issue?
With that, I don't believe so. Yeah. So with that, we'll go on to 12C. Consider approval of ordinance number 2025-21 of the City Council of the City of Perry, Oklahoma, closing the public use of the south half of Jackson Street abutting lots 4 through 7, block 10, town side of Northeast Perry, county of Noble, state of Oklahoma, repealer clause, savings clause, severability, and declaring an emergency, which we will not be able to do in this meeting. But we can approve the ordinance at least.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, roll call?
And Bledsoe.
Yes.
Marshall.
Yes.
Rupp.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Wortham.
Yes. So 12D will forego until our next meeting. All right, so we are going to skip over item 13 for right now. And we will move on to item 14, and then we'll come back to 13. So item 14, consider ordinance on foul. 14A, consider approval of ordinance number 2025-23 of the City Council of the City of Perry, Oklahoma, amending Chapter 4, Article 1 of the Perry Municipal Code 2022 by the adoption of Section 4-104A entitled Hobby Chickens and Ducks, authorizing hobby quail.
No, that needs to be taken out.
Yeah. So that needs to be changed to hobby chicken. But in the City of Perry and providing for his
Actually, it should be authorizing,
hobby chickens and ducks.
no,
Or-
authorizing a special permitted fowl permit. It
Oh,
should
so
go
just
from
cut that out.
authorizing to the word special.
Gotcha. So cross that. So authorizing a special permitted fowl permit permitting a greater number of hobby chickens and ducks in the City of Perry based on size of acreage and providing for other miscellaneous amendments, providing for repealer, savings, codification, severability, penalty, and later possibly declaring an emergency.
So does that mean people can't have quail?
No, we're not, the ordinance provides that we're not going to regulate quail and we're not going to regulate pigeons.
So that means they can have them,
Yes,
unregulated?
yes,
Okay. Which is what they're doing now.
yes.
So no change there.
Why is quail not regulated?
I'm sorry.
Why is quail not I mean,
Oh,
have we always had a thing on chickens?
Yeah, chickens and ducks have been regulated, quail have not been, nor were pigeons. And so rather than go through that, we looked at some other cities and they had a separate ordinance on quail. So we
And,
just thought-
and it hasn't been an issue. I
No.
mean, what we're saying is, why do we bring up something that's not an issue? If we're gonna legislate, let's do it based on where there's a need. And, we should only pass ordinances if it's necessary for the health, safety, welfare of the public. So, and we determined that probably wasn't necessary. I also learned from Facebook that pigeons aren't foul, right?
They are foul, all birds are foul.
Yeah, I know, but
Depends on your perspective.
Depends on how old you are.
Depends on your perspective.
So with the changes made and updated in that ordinance, does anybody have any questions? More discussion on that?
How do you determine how much backyard space there is? I mean, how do you really,
Yeah, that's something we looked at because it was,
I mean, look
I mean,
at-
you can look on a map and
like
there's
the
measurement
shape,
tools.
the shape of a lot? Are you limiting it to whatever is directly behind the house?
Yeah, so it's defined as backyard space, which Bryce went into the details on it, so I'll let him talk to the lead guy.
yeah, it's not the front yard, it's not the side yard, it's the backyard. And there's a minimum of 2,000 square feet, which we think, probably everyone will be able to meet a backyard unless you have a very small backyard.
And there's some definition pieces like out of public view and things like that that define
So if-
backyard.
If I had a fence that, like this is the back of my house, and my fence went along the back of my house, and that way, is that my backyard? Even though it comes out to the side of my house because my property goes that far?
If it's
See what I'm
enclosed?
saying?
Mhm.
So, okay. So that's the front of my house.
Okay,
This is the back of the house. This is my fence. Is this my backyard?
yes. That's back, yep.
Thank you. Does it have to be a privacy fence to be able to not see?
It would kind of depend on the situation. It has to be out of public view. So, yeah,
Or
if
a
the public
fence
can
that
see it
had-
from the front yard, then there would need to be some kind of fence.
Okay.
yeah.
And that's what's in the current ordinance, right?
That's
All we're-
correct.
Right.
All we're applying here is just for the special permit to allow more per acres.
Yep, no, that's exactly right, Joe.
So with this has, I saw originally it was 50%, but now it's 75% of the neighboring, or the touching properties
Yep,
on the property lines would have to sign off.
yeah.
That's for the special,
Right, for the special.
for the
right,
special
For the,
permit.
yeah, to be able to have.
Yeah, and I
What's
will
more than
point out
that?
that,
Right.
that we had defined backyard space, the
Mhm.
2,000 square feet, and that is new.
Right,
I mean, that's new too.
right.
Yeah, so this, in some ways, this makes chickens harder to have because we do put a setback,
Mhm.
right? So it has to be 15 feet from your property line.
And those that already have a permit for their little 5 chickens in their backyard, are they grandfathered in if they don't have 2,000 square feet?
I'm not going to bring charges against anyone who currently authorized. They will not be filed against by my office,
So
I'm just
thi-
telling you.
So this does change the original
Yes, it does.
chicken ordinance?
Yes,
It does, yeah.
This makes it a little bit more difficult.
Because they need it.
But if there hasn't been an issue and if they have a permit and they're lawful to be there, I'm not going to file charge, and I have that discretion.
Yep.
Well, that 15 feet from the property line of all sides, that only leaves you with 20-foot strip down the middle of your yard to have chickens.
Yeah, if you have a
You have a narrow.
normal or narrow sized lot, then
Would that just be for the coop and not a run? Or is that right too?
I don't remember. Do you remember that, Bryce? If that's coop?
No, that's its own requirement. The 2,000 square feet.
Mhm.
This is going to be for new,
Mhm.
for new people that permit. I mean, it's broader in one way, it's tighter in another way. Or easier. It permits more
Mhm.
with this special foul permit, and it's more restrictive in new applications.
Yeah.
And this was very much in line with what other cities are doing, and not even just rural cities. This was largely based off of what Edmond does in terms of the 15-foot setback and the increased amount of the special use.
All of you are going to have to vote to approve this or it will not pass.
Yeah, we
So-
only have 5.
Yeah, I mean, you need 5 votes to pass an ordinance, so if we don't have someone ought to make a motion, because if we're not there, that'll end this discussion very quickly.
Yeah. I see everybody still looking through the ordinance. Was there any other questions on it?
I'll make a motion to approve the ordinance.
Okay.
Okay. Any other discussion? Let's have a roll call.
Bledsoe,
No.
Marshall,
Yes.
Rupp,
No.
Williams,
Yes.
and Wortham.
Yes. All right. Move on. We don't have to worry about item B. Oh, so we'll go back to item 13. Discussion of items needed for dam project. So 13A, berm or plugging of well sites, Charter Oak. I heard Matt's got a presentation for us on all these items.
Yes, I do. So the plugging of the well side, there's an oil pump that's going to be under the high water line or the flood elevation in the dam during a flood event. They're discussing with their stakeholders whether they can just plug that well. I don't think it's producing much anymore, so it's probably near the end of its useful life anyway. Still waiting to hear back on that. If they say no, then we'll look at just constructing an earthen berm around it to protect it during flood events.
So that, I was trying to understand those elevations. It looked like the berm was only a foot or two taller than what the lake would rise to, or was I reading that incorrectly?
In
Or-
the lake levels, you have your normal storage, which is going to be just basically from the principal spillway down, the water you normally hold. And then you'll have some flood storage that are basically from the top of the dam to the top of your normal pool elevation, okay? So if we were to have a major flood event, then that lake would fill up. You would be using the principal spillway and the 2 emergency auxiliary spillways. And during that time, the oil well would have some inundation around the well, the casing. So to protect that and prevent contamination of our water supplies, we would need to keep the flood waters away from it.
So the berm would accomplish that.
That's right, yeah, we would set the berm elevation to the top of dam elevation.
Okay.
So if the berm over top, the dam would be overtopping, and we'd have a lot of problems.
Okay, so that's where I misunderstood. I thought those elevations were the spillway and the berm.
No, the
And the
berm
pipe
elevation's top of dam elevation,
Okay.
so,
Thank you.
So that's 7 feet above.
that's right.
And so there's a chance that they would actually shut the well down instead of us having to build the berm, or
That's correct. That's correct. That's what they're discussing.
would there still be some expense in us
They
facilitating
have not
the well
indicated,
closure, or-
they have not indicated that. If they are saying that well is low enough production, I mean, they have to plug their wells anyway when they're done using them. So
Right.
I would not expect us to pay for plugging a well, because they need to take a well out of service. So I don't feel like that would be a cost that should be passed on to us.
Yeah, and just, council, I probably should have mentioned this before, but these are just, the idea of these items is just kind of a high-level update. So you can see that things are moving along. We don't have answers yet in terms of where all the funds are gonna be coming from. We're still seeking those things from the feds and things like that. But you're not, we're not asking that you make any motions of budgetary things tonight. But Matt's just gonna give some high-level updates. Hey, these things are moving forward, this is the direction we're taking, allow you to ask questions as you're doing.
Will we start the work before the funding?
No.
No?
These utilities have to be out of the way before they can start the work, or we have to at least have a plan to relocate the utilities
Gotcha.
during construction.
Well, we can have an agreement. I mean, it may be that the contractor ends up doing some of these as a part of it. We kind of change order that
Right.
contract, and he does that because he'll be fully mobilized. But we definitely need to have a plan,
Right.
and we need to have an agreement.
So, stupid question, this is gonna delay the dam project? Or is that project still out far enough that this could fit within the scope of our,
It's difficult to tell whether utility relocations or government shutdown is going to delay this dam project at this time.
I would think that, on these, we need to get the federal government back up, but we have an agreement that we could do a berm. It's just they may shut down the well. We have an agreement to relocate the line, and we have a price to do the natural gas line and the last one. So, I mean, is it going to delay it? No, we can move forward, but we do need to know where the money's going to come from, and we're hoping that that gets shared in.
And it has been delaying it. CO's been working for over a year now to get some of this stuff finally moving. It's been a huge challenge. And so to answer your question, is it going to delay it going forward? We hope not. Has it delayed it up to this point? Yeah, the funds have been there ready to start this project, and we haven't been able to do that because of some of these things that we're talking about tonight.
Nate and I had to go out in just a terrible storm to go to the Rural Water District Board meeting
We did, yeah.
to actually get a cost estimate from them to relocate the line. So,
Yep, we did that 2 weeks ago, last week.
yes, when all the rain came through and the wind.
so why does Logan County have a line that runs behind Perry Lake?
It's outside of their service area, so we've asked the same question.
They do.
That's what
They
it
just,
says.
they just have a very
Logan
large
County's water
service,
line.
they just have a very large service area. And apparently Noble 2, whose water district that technically would be in, said, we can't serve them.
Okay.
Logan 3 had a line close enough, they said,
Okay.
we'll serve you. And then probably 7 or 8 people went in and they extended the line along there. And we granted them an easement, quite some time ago across our property to lay that line.
Well, I'm excited to rehabilitate the lake. I mean,
Yeah.
showing my age, but when I was young, it was a recreational lake, and it was deep enough that you could put a boat on it, and that was back in the day, Joe. They were steamboats, but
Didn't they have a road going across or something?
they'd already closed the road by the time I came along.
And this will lead to economic development opportunities. I was talking to a developer today that really liked the idea of us having redundancy in our water. Where we pull from Perry Lake and we also pull from CCC or McMurtry. So I think this will be a positive thing, and it has been a challenge, and I'm sure there's been a lot of funding spent toward it, but I think it's gonna be a positive thing, and
Yeah. I think even improvements on the road and those utilities out there, we've got all that property out there as well.
yep.
Like, it'll just make that property much more attractive.
Yeah, and as we do that, we also have the 120 acres that
Yeah.
lead up to
Yep.
that
Yep.
lake, that as the
Could
lake
add some
becomes
really
better,
value to
or
that
as
property.
that side
Right.
becomes better, they're gonna raise each other.
Mm-hmm.
And the two little lakes we have are untapped
Yep.
Yes.
jewels that need
Yeah.
some shining.
Yeah.
Are we ready to talk about a different utility, or do we have each
I
one of
don't-
these as,
I
we've
don't
got the
think-
Charter Oak?
I think we have each one of them
Okay.
listed on there.
There was a big long list of stuff you were supposed to talk about.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just trying to make this my shortest presentation ever. You know?
So, yeah, all right, so Berman.
And if I don't beat chickens in time, I'm doing something wrong here. I won't be able to sleep at night if I don't beat time it takes to talk about chickens.
Other maybe we
I'll
are
just feel foul.
Maybe out of the way.
All right, well, I think you already touched on this one, so item 13B, discuss utility relocation agreement with rural water, sewer, gas, and solid waste management, District 3, Logan County, Oklahoma.
Yes, this cost estimate, I don't know if it's been presented to you yet. It's $586,908 to lay approximately 1 mile of main. I feel like there are quite a bit of contingency built into this. If we enter into an agreement, we will have a not to exceed amount, and they'll have to go out through a competitive bidding process. They're saying 90 days to lay a mile of 2-inch main. It should not take that long. So, I mean, I feel like we should come in under this cost estimate, but NRCS would be satisfied if we at least had a utility relocation agreement in place, because they've been willing to sequence the water line relocation with construction activity, because that should save some additional costs, because the contractor will have some clearing and grubbing done ahead of time, kind of clearing a route for the water line where they would have a much easier time constructing the water line. The first part is a bore. It is going to be a bore through shale, so there is some cost to this. This just isn't a cheap 2-inch line installation. I always felt this was going to be a $300,000 to $400,000 project, and here we are closer to $600,000 on this estimate. But like I said, they're probably approaching this like an ODOT job, and it's better to shoot high and come in low.
Yeah, so this is the big one. Obviously, it's a concerning number. It's something Russ and I are going to talk about next week, and try to figure out, hey, how do we want to approach this? We're also going to go back to NRCS. They've indicated that there might be some other funding available to do some of these things. So we're going to go back to them and say, hey, this is obviously higher than what we wanted to do.
So the water line alone is $600,000?
Yes,
Per 1 mile, yeah.
a 2-inch.
And is that part of that to buy new easement, or is that just the installation?
That's just a construction cost estimate with engineering. They have close to $100,000 of engineering inspection fees on top of that, and an admin fee. The rest of it is just construction. Like I said, I think the $485,000 in construction has some contingency built in it.
How much of that line is on our easement of that mile?
Well, you have the 3 properties right there, so I don't recall where the property line is, so I would just, close to a third, yes.
Our easement provides that if we need it moved, they move it at their cost. Okay, but, you're not gonna get very far with them talking that way, so,
We haven't brought that up yet,
yeah.
Right.
But I
but
did
we have
want to
that
point
in our
that out.
pocket.
Okay.
But it does service somebody. I mean, we couldn't just, kind of like the old well, ask them to just plug it.
No,
No.
and there is no other, that's a good question. Is there any other way to serve those, there's 7 customers, or does it continue, or is it
Well,
loop?
that's getting way off in the weeds. Do they have federal debt? If they have federal debt and you start taking away their customers, and then the only one that's going to win there is going to be the attorneys.
Yeah, Steve Harris.
He's talking over there.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, unless.
So this will be your legal fees if that's the case. They have a federal debt and then we start taking away customers, so,
Yeah.
you know.
So if we were to subsidize somebody else to come in there and put.
That's right.
It would have to be done by.
Well, not to mention this
It would-
water line.
it-
runs
It can be
chairman
done,
of the
it can be
board.
done by agreement. There's all the time,
Yeah,
there's.
they may be ready to continue to, or discontinue service this far north, who knows?
Well, now that we have an estimate, I sure would like to go back to NRCS and say, hey, 600,000,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know,
And that's what we'll do.
and see what they say.
Mhm.
You can run a water line that far.
Well, all we gotta do is build the bond and you can bid. It's a competitive bid.
It's the engineering that costs a bunch, though, is what I've heard out of that deal.
Just dig a trench and throw pipe in there.
Engineering 50, inspection was 46,800. So. I actually thought they would come back higher, so I was actually pleased with the number they gave.
That's
Because
expensive, believe me.
I was expecting them to be closer to 100 on their fee when, you know, on this deal, so I was,
I think our most recent bid we saw was $125 per foot.
but I told them that there was not all the bureaucratic red tape that we would have to cut and things like that, so that, you know, because sometimes you, with projects like this, you can get into environmentals and things like that, and that end up requiring a lot more time and effort, but I said, no, this is just a simple relocation. You know, we need to get a relocation agreement. Please give me an estimate so I can have something to present and at least come back to NRCS with too.
Alright, should we go on to the next one? Which is consider proposal of Calvin Mays Oilfield Services to reroute gas line located at the Perry Lake construction site area.
Yes, so they have a natural gas line that leaves the tank batteries on the south side of the dam. And it just goes to Gunsmoke Road, I believe, right there on the south side of the dam at that intersection and ties in. Currently, it just kind of goes cross-country across that pasture. They're gonna dig down that hill about 30 feet. So they're rerouting to the road, paralleling the road, going to get about 5 foot below finished grade and laying approximately a half-mile of polyethylene gas main there. And that comes in for $72,730. So,
We need to hire those guys to put the water line in.
Yeah.
well, they may bid it as well too. They're interested in looking at the water line project too. The deal with the water line is you have, you know, you have 3 bores and then you get down there towards the toe of the dam and you start getting into saturated conditions, groundwater conditions, swampy, boggy stuff. So that's why I said we need to sequence it with construction. That way that's dewatered, cleaned up. We save money on the water line if it goes that route. And NRCS is willing to do that. So, and the district is willing to sequence to work with the dam construction as well too. So that should result
And that's part of the
in a
agreement.
cost savings.
Yeah.
That's in the agreement.
And if NRCS agrees to do the construction administration as well during that too, then we're gonna save a little bit more money on the project as well too. So we'll see if they wanna, if the district has to handle it all the way through, if they just do design plans, hand it to NRCS, and then, so that's still yet to be found out too. This is kind of a worst case scenario cost estimate on the water line. Yeah, but we're on gas line, sorry about that. But $72,730 was the proposal I got from Calvin Mays to relocate that line.
And that's raw natural gas. It's not servicing any homes out there.
No.
So as to consider that proposal, do we need to take action on that one tonight or hold off on that?
No, let's hold off on
Okay.
all.
Yeah, this is really just an update.
Gotcha.
Nate and I want to take these to NRCS and see if we can maybe.
Maybe we'll just get a lot of use tax here in the next little bit.
You know, and I know you see these numbers, and I remember saying this actually years ago when we were talking about the water project numbers, and it's like, oh, how are we gonna do this? We'll get through it.
Mhm.
You know, we'll figure out a way, we'll get through it. And there's lots of funding available from lots of different sources, and
Mhm.
we'll get through it. And this is actually, although it seems daunting, this is actually a big step forward, because like I said, we've been working on getting an agreement and a cost estimate for a year from them. So it's a big step forward, and now we have something to work with, and I think it's a positive thing, even though those numbers do sound daunting.
Well, and as a percentage of over the overall dam project, this is still, Matthew, do you remember what the,
Over 10 million.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so the, the result of this is gonna be more than worth whatever we
Yeah.
have to add to get this done.
Mhm.
You're exactly right.
Yep. All right. Well, thank you, Matt.
Thanks for working on
Rob?
it, Pam.
That may not be your shortest, but it's close.
I tried.
I did tell him twice today, concise. And he said, I'll keep it short.
Just don't hurt his feelings, Nate.
You did a good job, Matt. You did a good job.
Alrighty. Thank you.
Thank
sir.
you.
Yeah. All right. You want to go back into item 15?
Thanks, Matt. You did.
Not unless you want to mutiny.
Item 15, approve city council regular meeting for next year. Anybody got any problems with those dates? So typically we roll over to Tuesdays on holidays.
Is that what the highlighted yellow means, those?
When I originally did it, Bryce caught them today. I didn't catch Martin Luther King, and then December 1st is a Tuesday.
What?
Oh,
So the original one had December 1st
Oh, good.
Oh,
and the 15th, so we had to
gotcha.
put on actual Mondays.
Mhm.
So December 7th and 21st.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's the correct. I gave you the updated one. yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Motion to approve.
second.
Okay. Roll call.
And Bledsoe,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Rupp,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Wortham.
Yes. Item 16, adjourn.
Wow.
All right.
Okay, let's call our regular meeting for the Perry Municipal Authority to order and have roll call.
And Coffee, Bledsoe,
Here.
Marshall,
Here.
Davis, Coldarn, Rupp,
Here.
Williams,
Here.
Boucher, Wortham.
Here. We barely got quorum. Item 1, consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second.
And Bledsoe,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Rupp,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Wortham.
Yes, and adjourn.
Okay.
All right, let's call our meeting to order for the Perry Facilities Authority. Now for roll call.
And Coffee, Bledsoe,
Here.
Marshall,
Here.
Davis, Coldarn, Rupp,
Here.
Williams,
Here.
and Boucher, and Wortham.
Here. Item 1, consent agenda.
Motion to approve.
Second.
And Bledsoe,
Yes.
Marshall,
Yes.
Rupp,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Wortham,
Yes. And adjourn.